if someone has done suicide and all, then there's a possibility that they are hovering for 90 days.
What happens to a soul after suicide? If there is a rebirth, then why are there souls in the ancestral plane anyway?
The Garud Puran, that the entire process of death is given. Next time, when you see someone dying very close to you, you try to touch their feet. If their feet is getting cold, that means in next 7 to 8 hours, they are going to leave. If you have seen the dead, first thing, especially when you see, they tie the toe, they put cotton in the mouth, they cover and they tie the face. Because when the Atman leaves, the soul leaves, it leaves from the 9 orifice. When an enlightened being leaves, it leaves from the crown.
At the absolute end of one soul's sadhana, do all the deities become the same?
You will be just consciousness. There are 2 sadhanas in this. One is with the head, one is without the head. Now it is said, even after death, when the sadhak is doing sadhana, the body starts moving.
What is contained in lower lokas?
From the Mooladhara and above, there are lokas where you can get lower entities to get their job done.
Like you can tune the radio within your own chakras to access those.
And people have that Patal Lok mein problem. Narad Muni has given beautiful example of Patal Lok. He says that it is darkness and there are no lights, but everything is there shining like gold.
Is Swarglok also the place you go to if you have led a good life?
Yeah, it is true.
What is beyond Swarglok?
After Swarglok.
The less I say about this podcast, the better, because Bhavesh Bhai returns on TRS with a deep dive into spirituality and, more importantly, a deep dive into death. We've approached the subject of death from every single angle in this particular episode. You're going to enjoy this one. It's another special when Bhavesh Bhai meets Ranveer Bhai on TRS. Welcome back, Bhavesh Bhai.
Thank you, Arbhai.
I was not prepared for you the last time. I was going through too much in life, and post a 2 or 3 hour sit-down conversation, you sat me down in my own studio and gave me a lot of spiritual advice and life advice that I needed so much at that point, because I was so deeply heartbroken about multiple things. It wasn't just a broken relationship. There was a lot going on, and I know that when I meet people like you, and there's a turning point post meeting people like you, that our paths have been intertwined for a reason, and the podcast is just a bonus.
Yeah, Arbhai, this time when I see you, you are much more stable, much more aware, and there is something grounding but exploding also.
Yeah, it's all the Om Bhairavaya Namaha.
I'm so glad that Bhairav Baba made me an instrument.
Oh my God.
And I'm very glad that Dada also played the role. And
By
very
Dada,
stable. By Dada, I mean Rajarshi Nandi ji.
Rajarshi Nandi.
Yeah.
Last
time when I met him, he was talking that finally Ranveer is doing it. I was like, yes, Dada.
There's a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think Shakti will come. It is coming your way.
Like Devi?
Devi, yeah.
Okay.
In your sadhana. So everything will beautifully unfold. But you are much stable, and I think there is grounding is there, but explosion is also there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy.
You know, you just mentioned that you don't love coming to Mumbai because there, can I say it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a little more jealousy in the air than in Rishikesh. You feel this in big cities.
I feel it. And I think the higher you climb, people just want to push you down. But at the same time, Bhairav is holding you so.
Yeah. I've been feeling it a lot more lately, I was discussing it with Atharv also.
Yeah.
Who's not just my producer at this point, he's like a brother only, because I think when you do this kind of a craft, your teammates truly become...
Definitely.
So they know you emotionally as well. Yeah. And I was just telling him that, dude, maine kiska kya bigada hai? Why is so much negativity directed? By negativity, I don't mean the memes.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that people actually don't see on social media. The stuff that happens in the background. Someone bitching about you somewhere, someone saying something negative.
What I'm realizing in your case, you went to everything, which is very, very good. At the same time, you're doing sadhana also. So if anyone or anything is trying to push you down, that deity will look after you. But the effect will come. Thoda to aayega hi. And the beauty is at times, if you meet that person also, you will come to know. Indications will begin, but yes, people are jealous.
What is jealousy from a human perspective? Why does it even exist as an emotion? That's something I've always wondered.
The problem is in human birth, jealousy is one of the biggest downfall. Jealousy, lust, anger, and everything. But that is the root cause of jealousy. We can't see others growing in life. And the problem is, what we do. If I can't see you growing, I will see to it that I will talk about you just to pacify my ego, just to work on my ego. So it's a shield that we come across. But the best solution is you don't put any energy there or just avoid it. And stick to your sadhana, because that is where the deity plays a role.
Yeah. I mean, people call it luck, but I would like to call it something a little more elaborate. I do believe providence is an actual thing where God just has a hand in your life.
See, there are two important things. The fact that, I was thinking about it while coming, that you have a very powerful karma. The fact is that you are associated with spiritual people, with the other industry, with news, with this, with everything. That is your karma meeting them individually. At the same time, when you're doing sadhana, grace is always there. The entire concept of Kashmir Shaivism, or you talk about Shakta tradition, without Leela, there is nothing. So that hand is always there. And the more you attune, that hand will hold you completely.
What is Leela?
Leela, in English, we call it grace. But Leela, actually, we call it the divine play. In Shakti Sadhana, we call it Leela. So she just plays with you. She'll put you in situations, but you are in that state of consciousness where you understand that you're just an instrument. So karma, falling down, jealousy is all taken care by her. So Leela is the divine play of creation which takes you inward. But nowadays in English, we translate grace. Grace is a small aspect of it. But we call it the Devi Leela, Shiv Leela. All Leelas are all the deity that you worship, they are blessings on you. So it's always there.
At the absolute end of one soul's sadhana, at the absolute end, do all the deities become the same?
I'll talk from the deity point of view and I'll talk from a sadhak point of view.
Sure.
From the deity point of view, you might be worshipping any deity. Might be Ugra deity, might be... See, in Tantra, there are 3 types of deities. I'm sure you might be knowing. Veera, Ugra, and Veera, Pashu, and Divya. All deities come to one point, and that is self-realization. That means the higher you go on the path, the deity and you will become one. Identification will get over, and you will be just consciousness.
What are the 3 types?
The 3 types of... so I'm talking from a tantric point of view. The first is Divya. Now... I'll give you yours, and... Sorry, what's your name? Atharva's example, okay? Arba, you're very sattvic. You're clean. Your mentality is uplifting others, being kind to others. I am very rajasic. My mind is always running around. Always in movement, always in competition, always wants to be known. And Atharva is very lazy, lethargic. So in Tantra, there are 3 types of sadhaks. And for them, special sadhana is given so that you evolve on the path. So our goal is to come in sattva, to be like you. So our deities also that we worship is very different. But at the end, there is no deity when you realize higher states. So I'm sure you heard about the 5 elements, the Panchamakaras. So when we take wine in Tantra, actual wine in the text, or when you meet great tantrics, they used to ferment their own wine. There was an entire process where roots, fruits, and stems were used. And underground, they used to ferment it for 5 days, 3 days, 11 days. And that is known as Aushadhi. That Aushadhi used to give feeling of ayahuasca or feeling of ecstasy. Then they used to see deities, but never harm the body. So alcohol was very different. Now we take alcohol depending upon what sadhak you are. So even when we talk about sex is not literal sex, but the awakening of the Kundalini. Even in Agor, when we talk about sex, I've never mentioned this, but when we talk about sex, there is a Shivlata Mudra, in which the male and the female are sitting opposite each other. They are naked. They are using their japmala. They are coming in touch with each other, but there is no release because complete identification with the deity happens. That is the reason after everything we say that the Guru is very important. Nowadays, we just read and we want to experience, and that is a problem. But you won't like it because you are Divya. For you might be awakening of the Kundalini, just doing sadhana, feeling loved by your deity. But if I'm worshiping with Kal Bhairav, if I'm that behavior, my sadhana will change. So it's different for different individuals.
Okay. I want to ask you about this one specific ritual you just spoke about.
Yes, tell me.
Again, I'm assuming that this is at a much higher stage of your own practice, of one's own practice. I'm also assuming that the couple has to be under the same guru's tutelage.
The couple has to be under the same guru. The couple has to be at the same state of consciousness. The couple should be worshipping Bhairav and Bhairavi. There is no actual sex in literal terms, which is wrongly taken. But in that state, you become one with Shiv Shakti. So you go inward completely. And I think very rarely people follow that tradition now. It has just become so diluted, and Tantra has become. That is the reason every time when I get a chance to talk, I say that please just don't read text, because Tantra is not sex, not alcohol. When they talk about mudras, it is not just having grains or taking certain mudras. It is awakening by taking bandhas, doing pranayam, cleaning the body. So that is in Guru is very. Otherwise, if you're doing it at the same time, you will be sucked completely into external senses, and then rebirth is going to happen because you're building a lot of karma. And if something goes wrong, then there's a lot of problem also.
Can I break this chain of thought and ask you to say a mantra out loud before we move into the rest of the podcast?
There is one of the mantra which was very close to me. It's from the Upanishad. I always chant it. I always start anything with that. And that is the Purnamada mantra. It is the termination of Tantra, or termination of any sadhana that you're doing. And that is Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. The meaning of the mantra is very profound. Purna is something which is complete. So I'll break it down in simple language. Purna means that is full and this is full. Fullness can come only from full. So if you remove full from fullness, fullness shall always remain. That means the concept of half glass never exists at the end of your sadhana. The glass is empty, which is full. This is half glass is also full, and with water is also full. And you are that full. So I think the termination of any sadhana, maybe Tantra, maybe Vedanta, maybe Gyan, Raj, it will lead you to fullness. And that fullness is a state where a truly enlightened being operates in its full potential. And that time there is no action. There is only presence. And such saints are like Ramana Maharishi, Adi Shankracharya, the great.
All these people you named, what was their sadhana at the start of their own journeys?
Very interesting here. I will talk about Adi Shankracharya's Param Guru, Gautam Buddha. He was the master of Mercury. In Tantra it comes, just sharing, because generally Mercury is found approximately 25,000 feet. That is the birth of Skanda and all, but I won't go there. Mercury, it's taken in Tantra. Again, there's a lot of misconception when you talk about Mercury, because people do use Mercury, but it is not the right way.
Mercury, the metal.
The metal, which is poisonous. Very, very poisonous. They use mica also, but Mercury is often mentioned. So Mercury is ultra poisonous and we can't use it like this. So what is, there's a text, Sri Suktam. Sri Suktam, it is mentioned that Mercury is boiled. Pura usko liquid karke. For years and years they keep it, they test it, and then uska powder banate hain. When the powder is done, they add gold dust or silver dust to it. And then only at the tip of the needle, that amount is taken.
Swallowed
By the sadhak. And Adi Shankracharya, the great, his guru, he had mastered this art. Now two things are going to happen. Alchemy baat karte hum. That siddhi comes to you. Siddhi is occult, but your siddhi means perfection. So in that state, even rock can be converted into gold. Alchemy aata hai. Secondly, these great siddhas had the power to keep the body immortal. I don't know if it's true or no, but Sant Kabir had an experience where no one found his body, there were only flowers. So they had gone through the process. So Mercury is widely used, not now, but in the text. That is Adi Shankara, the great I'm talking about him, his sadhana. I personally believe that he was a tantric Vedantic because he has written beautiful things about Ma. At the same time, he has given Vedanta, which people don't understand what it is. In fact, people are very scared of Vedanta because they don't want to accept that something like this is existing.
What is Vedanta?
One of my favorite topics. I'm glad you're talking about it. Vedanta is something which is the goal of human birth. And it is not going to happen when you die. It is going to happen when you start understanding now. With that understanding, it will give you the experience that at the end, this is my journey because I am not this body, not this mind, not this intellect.
Philosophy?
Philosophy and experiential both. And sadhana also.
So what is the experiential and sadhana about?
So when I talk about, now I'm talking about Adi Shankracharya, then we'll come to Paramahansa Ramkrishan ji, and then we'll come
Sure.
So Adi Shankracharya the Great, he got something very important that is known as Vedanta. It was already existing, but he got it out. What he said in simple language, that, I'm putting in my words of course, because nothing is constant in your life. Nothing is constant. And if you think that everything is constant, name it. For example, Arba, I'm asking you, what is constant in your life? Tell me one thing that has been constant.
My mother.
But eventually,
Yeah.
my mother's going to die, your mother's going to die. That emotion will also change with time about mother, which you have been experiencing. If your body is constant, we know the body is constantly changing. Then what is constant?
God.
But have we seen God? So very practically we'll talk. There's only one thing constant. That is your Atman. You called it soul. Soul is a wrong term in English because when we use the term soul, it means multiple soul. We call it the Brahman. That is only constant.
Consciousness?
Consciousness, you can call it. In fact, they call it Satchitanand. That is consciousness. From this consciousness, the deities have come. Everything has come from this consciousness.
The same life force that flows through me and you.
Perfect.
Okay.
That is what. Our end goal of life is to realize that. And practically how to apply it, I personally applied it, has worked wonders. In Upanishad is given called Neti Neti. Means whenever I'm entangled in a situation, I tell myself, I'm not this situation. I'm not this passing emotion. I'm not running away from the situation, but I'm being aware through my intellect that even if I'm very happy today, after 4-5 ghanta, I'll be very, very sad. And I'm very, very sad. It won't last forever because next morning I'll be happy. What should I do? I should be in between. That is the first step of sadhana. This is for people like us who are very, very practical. Oh, I can't do jap. Oh, I can't do pranayam. But this is sadhana. When you're, suppose I had a fight with you very bad. I don't want to fight. Okay, Arba is angry. I'm not this. After half an hour, I'll talk to you. But this coming to this emotion and actually experiencing it, I need to do neti neti. I'm not this, I'm not that. Then who are you? You are pure consciousness. That is actually, even in Tantra, when that Shakti meets Shiv, that Shiv is pure consciousness. When Kal Bhairav will take you in your journey inward through all the chakras, or he'll give you his glimpse, the main roop, you will realize that it is bliss. And that state is profound love and unconditional love. We are all conditioned lovers. All of us.
I always assumed that Vedanta is the learnings from the Vedas.
So, very interesting. You're talking about Ved, no? How do I start? You want me to go all out about Ved? Or you want me to come back to Vedanta? Because we are opening dimensions which are...
It's two different things?
No, actually, when we talk about Ved, Ved has 4 parts. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Samved, Atharva Ved. And they all play different roles. After the Ved, there are 4 parts. Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishad. Upanishad is the part where we talk about the self, the Atman. So the entire teaching of the Vedas, when you come to the final conclusion, is I am pure consciousness. That means when you evolve on the path, Ramana Maharishi the Great used to he never gave mantra. He gave mantra to few people. That is a mystery. But used to uplift people just through eyes and his presence. And anyone would come with any agony, pain, suffering in his presence because he tuned to that consciousness. So that are the teachings of Vedanta in simple. It's the highest. There is no talk required. There is no nothing required. In fact, in Tantra, there are higher gurus who can come to your dreams or who can communicate you and give you something so that your job is done. That can also happen. Coming back to Vedanta, let me put it in simple language. As you mentioned, the sun, the water, this candle, you, me, there is one energy which is looking after everything. The moment you let go of your mind, the moment you let go of this identity, and the moment you let go of this binding and bonding to material things, what will remain is just presence. And that is the teaching of Vedanta. There is very amazing, no? There is, we call it the Frog Upanishad. So there are 3 states that we have, which everyone knows about it. The awake state that I'm talking to you, the dream state. Even in dream, there are multiple states. There are 5 to 6 kinds of dreams that we go through. And there is a deep sleep state. Okay. Now, if Arba, you're telling me that I am this body or I am this, but you're not constant, you're changing. Suppose if I'm going in other states also, even that is changing. But there is one state which governs everything. If you are in that state, you don't need sadhana. You have become sadhana. So, like Adi Shankara, when he reached his highest, or even Ramana Maharishi, they did no sadhana. Their presence was sadhana.
Is this Turiya?
It is Turiya. It is Turiya. In fact, so there is a state where suppose Arba you are here, and this is Turiya. In that, you will go to multiple states, different devatas, or God consciousness, or maybe lower deity consciousness, or maybe cosmic consciousness, or maybe nature consciousness till you reach Turiya. If you have reached Turiya, then as Thakurji said, no one can stay in the body for more than 21 days.
After reaching Turiya?
After reaching, because even the sattva is over. Finished. There will be, all the karmas will be. In fact, Vedanta says that there are Jivan Muktas. Even after attaining that state, you can operate in this world, uplift others. But Thakurji said that if I, in his personal experience, when Shardama was asking him that, there's a very amazing story. Thakurji used to love food, I don't know if you know much about him, but he was a great tantric. In fact, he was a great agora. Agor is something which means pure, gentle. Gor is terrible. He was Agor. So one day in his sadhana, he was so tempted because he was craving for a kheer. And he was very, very tempted. Then he realized, again, duality came. He realized that, you know what? This will again bind me. How do I balance it? He started eating fecal matter. Because he was in that state where everything was one. After eating that, he realized that even this is temporary and this is temporary. And again, he went into another state, which is Turiya. And in that state, the body just stops. And he used to go so much in Turiya that he used to salivate and he used to dance. My point again is going in Turiya, and he told Shardama, what is your craving for food all the time? Then he told her, the day I stop eating food, I will leave the body. And after a few months, there was an incident where she got his favorite food. He just didn't say anything after 4-5 days. So in that state, you become masters of the body.
Is this beyond what people understand as moksha or enlightenment, or is it the same?
See, when we call moksha enlightenment, I've been seeing people define it very, very differently. But when we talk moksha normally, who's completely new, moksha for us is a state where you are in a state where you're unaffected by anything. You're judgment-free, you're hassle-free, and you're experiencing unconditional love. That means even for the small dog there, to the greatest saint here, everyone is equal. Now, when we talk moksha from these great saints' point of view, they were living gods on earth, walking gods. They had the power to uplift others. In Tantra, there are different dikshas given. The first diksha that we start is mantra jap, which we all are doing. The highest diksha is the Purna Abhishek, where you have become one with the Guru, you have become one with the deity, and you have only one agenda, is to uplift others. So your presence will talk. That moksha is where we terminate. But for beginners like us, when I say, I'm in a state of bliss or I'm in a state of non-suffering, you are initially moving towards moksha.
What did Gautam Buddha reach?
Gautam Buddha, he is the one who got ahimsa out. Ahimsa was always there. He got the one. I think Gautam Buddha was a great, when Buddha was there, he wanted nothing. He expected nothing. And he was a great being and a state of being. But when he talks about moksha, he talks about shunya. Now, this is where Bhagavad Gita and Buddhism is very different. When we, from tantric point of view also, or from Bhagavad Gita, from the Vedic point of view, talk about moksha, it is not empty. It is an experience where you're full of everything. Full of compassion, full of love, full one with the mountains, trees, everything. But when Gautam Buddha spoke about moksha, he said it is shunya, which means empty. There are controversies, but I think he had experienced. And also in Buddhism, they believe that there are two types of Buddhas. One who get moksha will never come back. And other, they will come back to uplift others. So unka philosophy alag hai. But I think Gautam Buddha, he had experienced the pinnacle.
Okay. Coming back to what we were talking about originally.
Yes.
You said, I can't remember who you named, but you said someone used to follow Vedanta as well as Tantra.
Adi Shankara the Great.
Adi Shankracharya.
Adi Shankara the Great.
So I understand that Tantra contains practices and disciplines,
Definitely.
right? When you're saying that Vedanta is also part of it, are there different disciplines added in, different routines, different practices?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I talk about Tantra, see now Vedanta doesn't believe in deity. Vedanta believes that everything is one. You are one, I am one, this mic is one, everything is coming from the same source. But now the problem is, I can't comprehend this. This is too much for me. How can this be one? And if you slap me, I'll feel pain. How can this be one? For people like us, we need a form that we can hold on. And that form interacts with you. So the more you start, have you realized, the moment we stop worshipping deities, also deities will vanish. There'll be no one to worship. So it is that connection. So you're worshipping deity, the deity also communicates. But when you actually start worshipping the deity, that deity will take you to formless. So Vedanta comes in this is the difference between Sanatana Dharma and religion. Sanatana Dharma gives you tools, methods, everything to reach the highest. Religion, you know how it works. There is only one God, follow that God. That is a problem. So bhakti done with ignorance is a problem. And Vedanta goes into different states also. For example, Vedanta says if you go in deep sleep, suppose Arba has gone to deep sleep completely. Where is Arba? There is no existence. There is no identity. There is no name, no surname, nothing. But when you come back again, you know that, okay, you know what? I have to take a podcast, I have to travel, again, there is work. What is that gap? So they make you question intellectually. What is changing? What is not changing? That is the sadhana and Vedanta. Intellectually, cut you. But you're very highly emotional, then hold on to a deity. But in suppose Atharva case, he just loves working. So they have given Karma Yoga in which it is trained that do every job by seeing the divine. But Vedanta is the crux. Any sadhana.
How do you practice Vedanta?
Practicing Vedanta is very difficult because whenever we talk about Vedanta, people are just confused. They are saying कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है. The basic crux of Vedanta is just watching everything. Just watching and not reacting. So if someone is dying, watch it. If you're being very happy today, watch it. If you're being very, very sad, watch it. That watching of that emotion will help you to realize that nothing is permanent.
Okay.
Practical.
Okay. I'm going to combine the knowledge I've gained from a past episode with Gauranga Das Prabhu. He spoke about 14 Lokas.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle.
Yep.
Earth, Bhulok, sent you to suffer and sent you to possibly progress fast spiritually.
Yep.
Fair?
Fair. It is that opportunity given where we can work on our karmas.
But there are 7 worlds above and 7 worlds below.
Yeah,
What, 6 worlds?
Yeah, 7, 7, 14. There are more. But 14 is...
There are more.
There are more experiences that people have. But 14 are mentioned in all the texts. But I believe there are many things that we have not decoded yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Atharva Veda talks about these lokas in detail.
Like what?
Says that during sadhana, a person has the possibility in this awake state to experience different states. Like there are people that I know, they are at times doing sadhana and they are thrown in Vaikuntha. That is where Vishnu is sleeping on the snake. So it is not Maya. It is not imagination. It is one of the lokas that they have been thrown for temporary. But if I tell you, they'll call me mad. Arey kuch bhi bol raha hai. But again, that is not constant because it is changing. So the knowledge of Vedanta is very important.
Okay. To just be non-reactive.
Yeah. Just be non-reactive, but not going in tamas. There's a big difference between non-reactive and actually sulking and non-reacting. A person who, suppose now you abuse me and I'm not reacting, I'm quiet. I'm aware, but my internal journey is that I'm not going to get affected. I'm not going to get angry, because if I get angry, I've fallen down on my spiritual path. But at the same time, if you are shouting and abusing, I am non-reactive, but internally I've abused you. Internally I've thrown a tantrum inside. I'm a failure. If by this attitude, you can just unlock your karma. It is so powerful. Vedanta will give you direct result, but it is very difficult to maintain that state all the time. That is why we need asana and pranayam. That is why we need the knowledge of panchakoshas. That is why we need the knowledge of being aware in the moment and every moment.
In those 14 lokas or 14 worlds, the highest one is the one that contains Parabrahm.
The highest is the Parabrahm. Below the Parabrahm is all the higher deities. Shiv, Vishnu. They are direct. So if you go down, I will share something. We know someone. Not know someone, but we are aware about them. There are people that from the Muladhara and above, there are lokas where you can get lower entities to get their job done.
What do you mean from the Muladhara?
So when you talk about lokas, or when you chant the actual Gayatri mantra, there we take few tapa, jnana and all. I will not take that, okay? But yeah, tapa, jnana, we take mudras and we chant.
As in, you're saying there's a correct way to chant the Gayatri mantra.
Yes. So there are many Gayatri mantras. The one we chant, that has more so jnana, tapa, this, and we take mudras, taking the name of the lokas. So you are getting access. That is the reason Gayatri mantra is one of the most powerful mantras. Because while chanting also, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, you're talking about 3 lokas. Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. That is, and you talk about more also. We take certain mudras and we chant. So each mudra is located with each chakra. And each chakra has
access to those worlds. Like you can tune the radio within your own chakras to access those.
Yeah. No, the chakras, you can, in simple language, you can tap into that state of consciousness.
Okay. While you sit in Bhulok.
Yeah. Because the mind has the power. But again, this is all Maya. Because the highest lok is the top where you become one with everything. I've seen people getting entangled in lower lokas, and then ego is very dangerous.
What is contained in lower lokas?
Lower lokas have deities through which you can get work done, job done, which will give you name, fame, material. But you're binding yourself to karma. In fact, even after death, depending upon the quality of life that you have led, before getting a human birth, you stay in the lokas for a while and then come back also.
Because you have some association with them.
And people have that Patal Lok mein problem hai, Patal Lok mein we are burning ourselves, we are dying. No. Narad Muni has given beautiful example of Patal Lok. He says that it is darkness and there are no lights, but everything is there shining like gold. So that is also a temporary stay. And again, you come back in the human birth. Again, you're given a chance to reach the highest crown. And that is the reason we call it the vicious cycle of birth and death.
But there's something that could possibly happen between birth and death.
A lot of things. See, Arbal, I'll tell you your case very practically. Now you are living a material life, and we're very grateful you're living a spiritual life also. A lot of things are happening. Now spiritually you're growing up. Now you're doing good amount of sadhana. Fabulous. You're getting experiences and you're being aware and maturity is coming. At the same time, ego rise ho gaya now. So sadhana will stop and this will grow. You will get this also. But again, you will build karma. So future destiny, there are possibilities. That is another topic. But what you're doing now is impacting your entire being. But spiritually, if you start looking things, then you will get everything. You know what I've realized? The more evolved you're on your path of evolution, your material needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, everything is taken care. Everything. The deity will see to it that you will get it. But if you're demanding too much, the deity will give you also. But personally, I think it is wrong. Because when we worship our deity, we don't ask. We are just grateful that he is. That's it.
Coming back to the Lokas.
Yes.
The highest one is the one that contains all pervading
Yeah. Brahman.
Brahman.
The teachings of Vedanta. In that state, the body will not last. It is just an experience. We call it the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I would love to go on the topic of Samadhi because people are scared talking about it. They don't know. Even in Samadhi, there are different states of Samadhi till you reach Nirvikalpa.
What is Samadhi?
Samadhi, I'll just start with something very basic. Samadhi is a state where you have become a perfect human being with no flaws. Samadhi is a state where you have experienced your true essence of life. And Samadhi is a state where, I'll talk from the first state of Samadhi, that is the moment you have learned how to respond and not react. You have climbed the first stair of Samadhi. Then it goes up, up, up till you become a living God. So there are many states of Samadhi. It can be a killer topic. Yes.
Okay. We'll address it perhaps in this conversation itself. So you're saying that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is the highest form of Samadhi, gets you the consciousness of that highest Loka.
Yeah. Can I break it for you?
Sure.
In simple language
Sure.
so that we'll understand. I'm quoting Patanjali Maharishi because when I read this, it just blew me up with the understanding of Samadhi. Around 5,000-6,000 years ago, he spoke about the mind, which everyone's talking about, mental health. And he has beautifully given mental health. And this is the way I've taken it. He says there are 5 states of mind. So Arbai has a mind and he has 5 states. Bhavesh has a mind, he has 5 states. The first state of mind is Nashipta, the monkey mind. I call it the monkey mind. Which means you're sitting here, but you're all over the place. That means I'm sitting here but thinking, oh no, what I'm going to eat for lunch. Then Arbai se baat karna hai, then I have to go for a drive, running around. Generally people like us. The second state of mind is Shipta, Vikshipta. Very interesting. In which, Arbai, you are talking to me. 2 seconds ke liye you're completely aware. Then on the 3rd second, you're gone somewhere else. Then again you come back to me. Again you're gone somewhere else. It switches. And you're aware about it. I call it the butterfly mind. Have you seen a butterfly? It will beautifully sit. Then again it will ponder. Again it will come back. The third mind is very dangerous. Mood donkey, mooder. You're very stubborn, very lethargic. You don't want to do anything. And even you're like this. That means you know meko itna kaam hai aaj, but you don't want to do. Constantly we are going in 3 states. All the time, all of us. But Maharishi Pandit is saying by doing sadhana. And he has given some very practical sadhana for people like us who are completely new. For doing sadhana, you have the power to go to other 2 states of mind. And that is ekagra and nirodha. Ekagra means you are like a laser. Your sadhana that you're doing is giving you one-pointed awareness to do every job, everything. Maybe cooking, maybe talking to me. You're aware, you're into it. And you're observing at the same time and you're evolving.
State of flow is achieved much faster.
Much faster. Because all the clutter, all the nonsense is gone and you become one-pointed. And in that state, I can see it that, a person who's doing sadhana will see that he's progressing. And you will also come to know you're progressing. And in the last state, he says, you are nirodha. That means your body will just fall because all the karma is over, everything is over. You have reached the pinnacle of human consciousness.
Nirodha.
It means stopping all the 3 gunas. But now what happens? This is not Patanjali saying, this is what Tantra says. There is something known as Jad Samadhi. Suppose you're doing some tantric practices, all of a sudden you'll faint. All of a sudden you'll leave. All of a sudden some experience happen and later you'll come back again. That Jad Samadhi is a problem. It should happen from Ekagra to Nirodha. That is the reason Guru is important. I'm trying to break it down so that we understand what actual sadhana happens.
Sure.
Because people think mantra jap kar raha hu, pranayam kar raha hu, but at the back end, this 5 is constantly happening in every sadhana. So there are many states between Ekagra and Nirodha also. So from Ekagra, you have started Samadhi till you reach Nirodha. And if you reach Nirodha, then there are great siddhas like Bama Kempa, Adi Shankara. They could materialize. They could do anything. Name Karili Baba. They were beyond.
You become a god.
You become a siddha. You become a god. Like, you can achieve it. And there are, I don't know why people don't believe. The problem now that we are facing that when we talk about such things, they're like, kuch bhi bol raha hai, kuch bhi kar raha hai. But my point is practice. The more you practice, you will not need anything.
Yeah, I think there is an entire section of human society which is deeply dismissive
Yes.
without having experienced anything.
Yes.
Based on the education system that they were put through and the society that conditioned them.
Yes. And that they have been tamed to be like this.
It's almost looked down upon to listen to these topics also, to
Yes.
speak about these topics.
Yes.
But the mind that perceives the limitation is the limitation.
Yeah, true.
I think it's a quote by Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% sure that Bruce Lee had some knowledge about these things.
Bruce Lee was very evolved being. And I believe he was an Ekagra. Always. And you watch his movies, you look at his interviews, you look at his action, everything is flawless, but it is so constant. He was an Ekagra. I give that example at times when we talk about Ekagra.
Lionel Messi?
Definitely. See, you come to know. They are focused. Now, whatever the goal is, eventually they will evolve depending on their karma. But spiritual people are Ekagra and they want to reach the highest. They want to explore the inner dimensions. And you know what Tantra believes? I'm putting Tantra again because I love this concept. Without bhukti, there is no mukti. That means without experience, there is no salvation or no reaching moksha. So every experience is important. Only after tasting salt, I know khane mein salt kya hai. Yeah, but it also says getting attached to the experience is the biggest downfall.
Yeah. Anyone who understands football even a little bit knows that there's something different about Lionel Messi. And I'm a massive Cristiano Ronaldo fan.
I noticed, yeah.
Okay, between the two, I'd pick Cristiano Ronaldo because that's the human being. This one's a god.
But have you realized? I don't know how they are off ground, but whenever they are on the ground, there is another energy that takes over.
Yeah.
They can read it. Their sadhanas become that.
I also would argue that Lionel Messi could very well be a very evolved soul that just wanted material success as an experience and then was born into that body and mind.
I do believe because another point is that, all these people who have touched heights in their own field, that is you, or that is these players, or whoever talking about they have done sadhana at a certain level. But now again, their contribution is taking them to other level. At this point of time, either it will take them high or take them down is where human birth comes into consideration.
Okay. So when you are gifted this opportunity in our lok called the Bhulok, there's a very big possibility that you could slip and fall away.
Definitely. That is the reason, satsang is very important. Having like-minded conversations or company of people is very, very important.
Because a downfall doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And the thing is, what? Suppose now, Arba, you have good amount of martyr points, plus points in your account. All your past sadhanas, whatever. Now you're living through it, enjoying through it. At the same time, you're doing negative. Oh, plus khatam ho jayega na, on the spot, downfall will start. Because nature will see to it that whatever you are enjoying must be paid also. So it will make you pay. Then again, plus, again, minus. Who's a yogi who has realized that I want to be over this game? I'm just in surrender.
Coming back to the lokas.
I'm ready.
What is the second highest loka? The one you said where?
See, this first is where humans are there. Second are ancestors. Third are lower deities. Then there are rishis. Then there are higher deities. And then there is Brahman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we break down each of these higher loks a little bit?
So, I will start from the heart chakra. I'll just talk lower chakra, higher chakra.
Sure.
Of course, below the reproductive organ, there are the 7 lower chakras. I'm not talking about Tala, Sutala, Tala. I'm not talking about that.
Really?
Yeah.
So there are more chakras than just the 7 we know of.
Yeah. So when we chant the Gayatri mantra, we talk about the 7 mantras, the 7 lokas and the mantras going up. Below that also are 7 lokas where the Nagas are there, where all the lower... See, whatever you do after your death, there will be a time where the transit period is given and that happens in the lokas. Now, something very interesting. That is the reason I insist people do their sadhana. Garud Puran says that if you're doing sadhana, at the time of death, no one will come to save you. But your deity will be there protecting you in any of the lokas. So the transit may also, Kalima, Kal Bhairav, all will be there. You will be connected. They will see to till the next birth. That hand is there what you're talking about. But if you're living a life which is full of treacherous thoughts and murderous, then you will be paid for. Now, coming back to lokas again, from the heart chakra to above, these are lokas where you get, have you heard people that, oh, I was sleeping and Ramana Maharishi came in my dreams? Or, Shiv Baba came in my dreams, or Kal Bhairav came in my dreams. You have tapped into this loka in your sleep. And from this loka above, there are rishis. There are the 4 sons of Brahma. They can travel anytime. So they are operating in this loka. Then Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are operating in this loka. And I think if you touch the crown, then Ramana Maharishi the Great had that experience. In his sleep, he went into a state where he awakened and he experienced death. Not death of being scared, but death in going to the journey and reaching Satchitanand. So there are lokas.
You spoke about one of the lokas containing your ancestors.
That is the reason we do Pitru Paksh.
Now, this is something I've always wondered about ancestors, okay? Lost my granddad a year and a half ago. What is the duration that one spends between two births? Because if there is a rebirth, which is definitely there, then why are the souls in the ancestral plane anyway? Because this ancestors being behind you is a part of many cultures. Sikhi, Native American, shamanism, Sanatan Dharma.
Very strongly.
But okay, I'm definitely praying to my ancestors during Shraddh. I'm asking for their blessings. But for all you know, my great-grandfather might be a 5-year-old kid going to St. Mary's High School.
100%. Are you from Mary's?
No, okay. I have a lot of...
Yeah. Let me... something very interesting, and this is what people don't accept. If suppose someone dies in the hospital, the doctor will consider them that this person is khatam. He will not come back. But the Garud Puran, or when you pick up the parts of Ved, it is said the entire process of death is given. It is fabulous. If you have realized, next time when you see someone dying very close to you, you try to touch their feet. If their feet is getting cold, that means in next 7 to 8 hours, they are going to leave. This has been given in the text very clearly, and I have experienced when someone very close was dying. The lower chakras stop working. And there are 5 vayus, they leave the body accordingly. So even at times, if you have seen a dead body, after a while, they start urinating. You'll see them moving. The prana is leaving. Now, when the entire process is happening, it's a very beautiful process. I don't know why people are scared of death. In fact, we die every night. But the text is saying, when everything is done, I'm calling it the soul, the Atman, it hovers around in this lok for 13 days. That is the reason if someone very close to you is dying, they will communicate with you in their dreams. It is also said that suppose if Tom is going to die and Tom is very attached to his children, he will try to sit there, or they try to communicate, we are not aware. Now, death has happened. There is a very beautiful process where the astral process is happening, causal body is happening. Fabulous it is. Nothing to fear about. There's a process called the cooling time. In that cooling time, we go to different lokas, depending upon our karma. So there is a stay there that is burnt out. Again, we are given a human birth. Like death is one of the favorite topics because the more I'm understanding it, in sadhana also glimpses are given about it. That is the reason it is said that the more sadhana you will do, the greatest fear of life, death will be taken away. Because you'll start experiencing and go beyond that. So there's that cooling time where they hover around. And you're true. When that is done, our grandfather has been taken another birth.
On the 14th day itself?
No, that also depends. In fact, if someone has done suicide and all, then there's a possibility that they are hovering for 90 days. And we think suicide is the easy way out. But you have gone against nature at a very other level. Of course, karma also comes, but the repercussion has to be paid.
Like you've taken a panga with Mother Nature.
Yeah, and Mother Nature won't let you go. That is the reason whenever suicide and all comes, they think that, I'm ending this now, family is free. No. Family ka karma to hai. What we are doing to them, that is a lot of karma, and you are going something which is very against nature. Nature will see to that you will suffer for it. So, the cycle goes.
What happens to a soul?
Very. After death?
After suicide.
After suicide, how do I put it in simple words? Because the process of death has happened, which is beautiful. And after suicide, no, it just hovers. And that is the time where all these lower energies and all they get hold and whatnot. But it hovers, it is struggling. But at the same time, again, people don't know, but in a way that is clearly mentioned, there is gravitational force and electromagnetic force, which is constantly working. The electromagnetic force pulls that so-called vasana and hovering and push it into another birth. But when it comes in another birth, it has to pay for the... So it's a very beautiful cycle.
I would assume that even during those 90 days, there's a lot of more suffering than someone who's gone through a natural death.
Yeah. And in that, when the so-called soul leaves the body, it takes away it takes away all the sanskars and vasanas, but it loses identity also. That is the reason the body should be burnt ASAP, because it tries entering the body again. If you have seen the dead, first thing, especially when you see, they tie the toe. They tie the toe, they put cotton in the mouth, they cover and they tie the face, because when the Atman leaves, the soul leaves, it leaves from the 9 orifice. When an enlightened being leaves, it leaves from the crown. So, and it is said, now Lokas, coming back, very good. When, suppose I have lived a very miserable life, and then I've done sadhana and my life has changed, that is okay. But if you are living Tom is living a very miserable life, he will leave the body from the lower orifice, from the anal, from the reproductive organs. And that time human birth will be difficult. And there are few people who leave the body from the high orifice. It is said when you leave from the high orifice, you will be given a human birth again so that you can walk on the path again. That is how reincarnation comes. Why animal made, plant, animals, वैसे cycle है.
Okay. Can you speak about a natural death? You spoke about how for 13 days, according to Sanatan Dharma, you stay around the body.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens on the 14th day? Do you go to Yamlok?
In fact, Yamlok is not that bad, Yam is Dharmaraj. He's not that bad how he's portrayed. But yeah. So normal, I'll talk about 3 people, how we die. Normal person, when he dies, he goes to the entire process of the Panchavayu leaving, the astral court. That is something very amazing, These great saints like Adi Shankara and all, they used to do astral travel. Like means being in the body, they used to travel everywhere. There's an astral cord, when a baby is born, the doctor cuts the umbilical cord from the mother and the baby. When we die, the astral cord is cut. And once the astral cord is cut from the navel, we can never come back in the body. And the death journey starts. Now, when a normal person is dying, he will die. When we do all the puja and all the pitru for 11 days, it is pulled into higher lokas. Higher lokas. Then the stay is there. And when they die, there is no God sitting up telling you do this. A blueprint is created according to your karma and next birth is given. It is said that when a baby is born, for the first 40 days, it remembers everything from the past sanskaras. Then it eventually forgets when another set of karma comes in. When a sadhak is dying, who has done good sadhana, the deity will help him with everything. There's no worry. When you do suicide, then there's a lot of struggle in your next birth. And the hovering time is also a lot. So the process is delayed, and the next birth, there will be a lot of issues that you'll go through.
Throughout life.
No, to a certain span of time. Again, nature will give you chance. That is the beauty of human birth. That is, don't waste human birth. It is very precious. Very, very precious.
Do what with it?
Be a perfect human being. Perfect.
Evolve.
In fact, human birth is given only to evolve. I'm not saying leave your family, don't do, enjoy everything. But remember that in very simple language for people like us, any attachment is going to give you pain. Do it everything, because you know that one day you're not going to take anything. But whatever you're doing, enjoy it.
Who's in the ancestral plane?
Our generations are there. Our lineage is there.
But
not for a long time, because that also process is happening at the same time.
Their own rebirth.
Their own
cycles.
process. Because everyone is coming with their own karma.
But I would assume that even my great grandfather or grandmother has now taken a rebirth. Therefore, they are not in that plane anymore.
Yeah, that is very true. But the concept of time changes in lokas.
Okay.
Completely. There's a change of time, there's a change of space. Time and space only comes in the living body. Once you go into higher dimensions, concept of space and time has changed. There is no concept.
So, in human days, maybe only one day has passed between
Definitely.
your birth 1 and birth 2, but in that realm, it's probably thousands of years.
It is Brahma's 51st to 55th year of the day that is going on. And it is said in the Puran, he's scared that even his end is going to come.
Are you talking about the ancestral?
No, I'm talking about Brahma. I'm talking about higher Lokas.
Okay. But even that ancestral plane will have different...
Yeah. Time changes. Why in this world time changes?
These are the conversations I live for.
Yeah.
The alteration of what time feels
Simple,
like.
no. Everyone, whenever I talk about this, people say, kuch bhi bol raha hai. I have a simple question. When you go in deep sleep, where is time?
What is time?
What is time? You don't even realize that, oh, the next day evening has happened. I was sleeping for 2 days or sleeping for 1 day. Or when, if you're getting very bored with me now at the moment, 1 minute is like, oh, when will this guy go home? Where is the concept of time? It is in your mind.
It's like you're very tired, you've had an exhausting day, you've exercised, you lie down on your bed after a shower at night, and you blink, open up your eyes, you're fresh in the morning. It's a new day.
It's a new day. And we are talking about time. I was so impressed when in Rig Veda, they have given time in such a complex manner in which I'll try to put it in simple language. There's a body where there are 7 lokas. There are 7 strands going like this. X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis. And in each strand, the horse is running like this. Circular. So in Sanatana Dharma, time is circular. The horse means Ashwa. Ashwa means a horse, but literally when you transfer, Ashwa, means no, and Shwa means time. So there is no time. Going around the 7 chakras is the 7 chakras. The more you lift your consciousness in higher states, the more time will become. You will move away from space and time. That is the meaning. And time is not running in one direction. Time is not linear according to Western. Subha, Sham, Sam Ko Sham. No. Time is circular. It goes round. How will I answer this? Very simple. 7 days a week. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Every year, 31st week. Round. How to break it? Sadhana.
Get out of this cage that you're trapped in.
Yeah.
So the perception of time and space that we have is a cage.
Yeah. I'll give you a very simple example. For a small kid, if you tell time, very slow. But now when we are growing old, we are going to die. Something that comes, the concept of time has again come. That is the most sadhana you'll do. All these questions will be answered because it's an experiential process.
Throughout my late 20s, I was so concerned about marriage and finding a romantic partner. And as my 30s have begun and are progressing, I want to chase this.
I think, at this point of time, about marriage and about you, I think you need a partner who's also evolved. Because this is for Arbhai, as far as I know him. Behind when we talk, he is very different. Now he's like this only, but the knowledge that he is holding. So I think you need a partner who's holding that knowledge. Otherwise, vibe nahi hoga.
If you have the right spiritual partner, see, the process of spiritual growth also, I would like to believe, unlocks certain functions in the mind.
Definitely, Shakti is very important.
My question is, if you have the right spiritual partner, then this whole process of evolution through life and the right kind of death becomes a higher probability. Because that becomes your sangat.
Yeah. So, I always believe and say that if you are spiritually walking and your partner is spiritually aligned, go for it. Because that support system is very important. And at times when you will be needing, that Shakti will hold you. But if you are like this and your partner is like this, then you yourself will take a step back. So there is no harm in marriage or that, but you should be aware what you want.
Okay.
And the beauty is, with time, you will also evolve more. So the partner should also evolve. That is also your responsibility.
If you go to the ancestral plane now, who will you meet there?
Sharing something very personal. I had some glimpses of my grandmother.
Okay.
That happened a while back, but it happened here.
She's still in that plane?
No, not for a few phases. After that, no. But for a few phases, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was over, whatever.
Where do you think this whole crows angle comes from, related to death?
Crows are very, very ultra smart. Secondly, I don't know, there's one of the Dashamavidyas, Dhumavati. Yeah. She's amazing. She is the one who handles all the crows. So crows are messengers. I am sharing a personal incident. On Pitru Paksha, on the last day, we offer rice balls. On that day, crow will never come. Very difficult. And first, I think I used to imagine, but every year being aware about it, the crows are portals and they communicate with especially with the ancestors. That is a fact. That is a fact. In fact, even if you're aware, at times someone is dying, a raven will be around at times if you're very aware, especially a raven. Yeah, so they are portals, and every animal has a certain signature with nature.
There's something about crows though.
Something about crows. They are very, and crows are ultra smart beings, and they hold a lot of specific energy in them. In Dhumavati's case, no, she communicates through crows at times.
I was once walking in Jaipur in the Royal Palace, which is accessible to tourists. And I was with a couple of friends of mine. A crow very violently attacked the guy walking in front of me.
Crows are very, very smart. They hold grudges also, and they have some connection with ancestors or karma also, especially with that person. I also had an experience. Someone was walking next to me and a very big raven, especially on the head.
Yeah.
Pulled very badly. Yeah.
Didn't look at me or my other friend. It was just that guy.
Yeah. Some indication.
Of what, but? Because he was also from a spiritual family. So I don't understand.
So I personally had 2 experiences where someone happened. One of my very close friends, he had this incident, and later in the evening when we were talking, he didn't do his final rites properly. So I assume that it is an indication that do the final rites properly. This is what I experienced. So I took it that way. But very strange, because he was going to talk to me in the evening about it. That, I have not done the rites properly, and I hold that feeling I have to do it. Something is missing. But the crow hitting, I took it as an indication. That is my personal experience.
I feel there are certain species of animals around us that contain more in their mind than we assume.
Definitely.
Crows, snakes. Dogs.
It is specially said, whenever you are doing your sadhana, please don't let animals come next to you. Now, there are 2 things. If you are doing your sadhana, you will see all the animals will come to you. Even the cat who doesn't like you will come, because the energy that you're using, all they absorb. So it is said during sadhana, especially when we do sadhana, we don't let our dogs come in. We see to it, or cats.
For what?
They absorb it. They also process it on. Wherever there is energy, they get attracted. And that time you also, rather than rising up, it goes.
Someone had once told me that the point of lighting a Jyot in front of you, a diya, while you do your sadhana, is to actually ward off other bad energies as well.
Yeah.
Now, is this superstition? Is there fact behind it?
No, there are 2 things. There's a mantra, Shubham Karoti Kalyanam Arogyam Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya Deepa Jyoti Namastute. There's a mantra when we chant a Jyot. Whenever we chant a Jyot, there are 2 things. First, light removes darkness. Secondly, is to remove your ignorance. Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya. And of course, whenever we are doing, we specifically take a til oil ka walk in the light, because that removes negativity. For Shanidev also we do it, because that removes negativity. So copper mein rakho, til oil dalo, then that actually will become like a kavacham.
For the room.
It removes negativity away.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, could you be doing your sadhana in a space, say a hotel room, which is not free of negative energies, which is so-called haunted or which contains some other lower beings as well.
Yeah.
While you're doing your sadhana, could a lower being also join the session and take it away the way the animals took it?
So I will tell you what we do. Whenever we travel or go to a place, or whenever we do a sadhana, we see to it that we first sit and do one jap
Off?
of our deity. Anything else that will go away. And we light a diya wherever we go.
One jap and one
One
diya.
jap and one diya. We do it wherever we, and we the sadhana that we are doing, we carry so if we have a ritual, we have to do it. So we do it then only. So we do it, we set, we light a diya, do a jap, and we chant a kavacham. We chant a kavacham, especially of that you have Vishnu Sahasranama is one of the most powerful Sahasranamas. In that, in the end, one mali gadi shargi shanki chakri chanandiki Shriman Narayan Vishnu Vasudeva bhi rakshatu. Anything in the room, Vishnu himself holding his Sudarshan Chakra and Gada will come and save me. We chanted 3 times. And we have experience, we have done sadhana. Of course, I'm not talking about Shamashan sadhana. Shamashan sadhana, you have to go with your guru, otherwise you'll be destroyed. But if you go to a place, nothing will touch you.
Why will you be destroyed?
Because in Shamashan sadhana, when you go, the guru has to come in the beginning for 2 days because you are new. You have just started your Purachana or just started your journey. They will eat you because you're going in their house. But a hotel and all, it's okay.
I was in Vrindavan not too long ago and I found out that on the other side of the river
Yeah.
is a smashan. And my first thought was, hey, I really want to go there.
Yeah.
So I asked my cousin, I asked my friend. Neither of them wanted to,
Yeah.
but I wonder why I had this urge to go there. So what is in a smashan, man?
In Shamashan, there are many things happening. But there's a very important sadhana that Aghoris do. Specifically.
What is a smashan?
Okay. Shamashan is home. If you're going to ask me personally, it is home where there is peace. But for me, very subjective.
And for the rest of the world?
It is a place where we fear to go.
It's where human bodies are
Where
burnt.
human bodies are cremated, burnt, or it is a place where the tamas is high, and it is a place where specific ugra devtas or devis are staying because that is home for them.
That's just the nature of
That's just the nature
spiritual
of
realm.
sadhak. Yeah. So the pashus are there are 3 sadhaks. So these agoris when I talk about, for them it is home. In fact, an actual agori will never come out. You will not see him walking out in there. They travel in the night from one home to another home. That is one smashan to another smashan. They don't walk because when it is day for us, it is night for them. When it is night for us, it is day for them. So that means when everyone is sleeping, they travel. And smashan is something Shava sadhana, there is something very interesting where I don't know how much we can talk, but I'm just giving you some idea. It is done on Amavas specifically. And that is the time, if you want to go, that is the time you will see what sadhana happens. They sit on a dead body and they make mandalas and yantras. And there are 2 sadhanas in this. One is with the head, one is without the head.
The body.
The body. I'm just giving you little so that you can understand. They sit on the body. Now it is said, even after death, when the sadhak is doing sadhana, the body starts moving. Is it hallucination or is it actually moving or what is happening? These all. But the greatest Agor, the teachings, what I've understood in Agor is to overcome fear. And the greatest fears we have is darkness. And that is a smashan. So, and Agors are very fabulous. We call them the lights in the smashan because they remove everything away.
Random quick question. Your body is going to be burnt one day.
Yes.
My body is going to be burnt one day. When our bodies are burning, will our souls be feeling anything?
No.
Nothing.
Once the astral cord is cut, finish. This is just 5 elements. What is running the show is that. That will move on. It has nothing to do.
Okay. What was the plane after the ancestral plane?
Swarg. Sorry. Bhur is all. Swarg is all lower gods. Indra and all these gods. You see the gods fighting? Those are the gods.
Varun.
And all those are the gods who create problems. Then they go to Shiv, they go to Brahma, they go to Shakti. Those are the gods. So in esoteric terms, that is the mind, the manas, where positive and negative. But in Loka, they operate.
But what are they doing?
They are working at cosmic level, at a lower level of cosmos. They are operating. And there are also people who worship them to get benefits.
Like there are Indra sadhanas.
There are Indra sadhanas, but I never recommend such sadhanas, or they are lower sadhanas. The highest sadhana should be piercing the crown and being one. Because these sadhanas, in fact, to be very practical, if you have the right knowledge, Indra sadhana can take you to the highest. If you have the right knowledge.
What about Kamdev sadhana?
Kamdev is very interesting, whatever I've understood from Shiv Puran and all. In fact, even under Chinmasta's feet, he is there. But I do believe that once you get entangled in such sadhanas, the tendency to the low emotion is very rise and shine. So you need someone to guide you to take you there.
You'll become almost more human.
More lower chakras. More first three lower chakras, and which is a problem.
And you're trying to break away from the concept of being human.
So now the question comes, but even in Tantra, you talk about 4 points, that is sex, food, sleep, and fear. Also, you're doing lower chakras. No. In Tantra, we address sex, food, sleep, and fear, but we are worshipping the highest deities who can take us from this, not push it in this. But if you have a good guru, a guru can do wonders.
Can you name some more of the lower deities?
I would not, but recently, in Kerala, I came across also, I saw the temple also. There's a lower deity which you worship and you get on the spot benefits. It is very famous there. But like material needs are satisfied on the spot. But I heard from people also that they, mannat kehte hai, or for 12 days I'll worship you. And they did that to that deity, they worshipped her. And after that deity started destroying their house. These are all lower deities.
There's a trade-off when you ask for gifts from lower deities.
Yeah. There's a price to pay for everything. That is the reason the more sadhana you'll do, you will realize there's nothing to ask. Nothing to ask. Everything is given to you automatically and given to you at the right time. Right time. Then that is how your faith and surrender comes. And you're always protected. Even at times, when you're in the fearful situation or something is not going right, you will automatically get that confidence. You will realize that everything is taken care. So I believe that the more sadhana you will do, you should just pray that you become a perfect instrument. But Maharishi Patanjali has given something very fabulous for beginner sadhana. This is what we were coming for the end point, for sadhana. Just follow yam and niyam. And trust me, I have seen people changing with that. Non-violence, cleanliness, doing jap on time. 4-5 things and magic will happen.
Okay. Is Swarglok also the place you go to if you have led a good life?
Yeah, it is true. You go to Swarglok also. You stay there for a time. And when the time done is allotted, you are again pushed into a human birth. So everyone is going through the process of birth and death. Few people are here, few people are here. But few people here also may fall down because of ego. So that cycle. But until you have understood in this birth that this is it. I'm just going to be an instrument. I'm going to do whatever turns up. I'm going to play my role. And then knowledge, Brahma Vidya comes to you. Then you're highest.
What is beyond Swarglok?
After Swarglok is the Lok of Rishis. These are the rishis who are helping us all the time, blessing us. That is the reason generally when people ask me, I don't have a guru, what to do, what is happening, just pray, because these great saints who are operating now will definitely help you. Like one of the great saints who's operating even now is Ramana Maharishi. If you just pray to him, he will give. Many such great saints, they are still operating. That is the Loka where blessings come, and there are many great saints who are still operating.
Neem Karoli Baba.
Neem Karoli Baba.
And they are above Indra.
They are above. Yeah, they're above.
And they were with us in Bhulok not too long ago.
They have reached that state, and why they're operating there? They don't have any karma, just out of compassion for humanity.
Perhaps that's the goalpost you should have in this life as well.
Yeah, because you become a Jivan Mukta. Vedanta says a Jivan Mukta is a person who has become free of karma and is operating in this reality just as an instrument. So they are living, walking gods.
You know, I'm not just saying this for comedic relief.
Yeah.
But this thing I said about not getting married.
Yeah.
One aspect of inspiration behind that thought has been studying rishis and the rishi lok and sages. Like I won't say considering sannyas because that's
Yeah.
too heavy a statement, but that thought has crossed my mind. I've spoken to my nana and nani about it.
Yeah.
My nana understood, my nani was like, no, get married, I want a great grandkid.
You know, something very fabulous. Even our rishis are married. So, Arbai. So, even our rishis are married. And, you know, the term Re is that cosmic sound. And she is the one who can hear the sound. So, they are rishis. Even in rishis, there are 3 kinds of rishis. Brahma rishis, Dev rishis, and Raj rishis. The Brahma rishis were living God. They were born in the cosmic consciousness. Like walking gods or not. Then they were Raj rishis. They were rishis but yet operating in this world. Married and all and all. And there's only one Dev rishi, that is Narad Muni. So marriage is not a problem because you have to get married if your karma is there.
Raja Rishi.
Raj rishi.
Like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
He was something. He was.
It's why one is remembered as a god.
Yes. And his sadhana was.
This is why we pray to him.
He is. The more I talk, the more I get goosebumps because he was a warrior with the knowledge and with dharma.
Who else would you put in this category out of Indian historical figures?
Janaka. In modern times, you know, it is very difficult to understand or pinpoint because in Agor there is something very amazing. I met a very great Agor now. Very amazing he was. Like a normal, very normal. But later I got to know that he is the Guru's direct disciple. Normally dressed, normally talk. And he told me something very, very important that why I'm telling this because I'll come back to Rishis again. Very normal. Spoken English. And he said that, you know, oh, have you heard about the Hastakali? Very laughingly talking like this. I said, yes, she's the one who smiles. And he said, do she sits at the heart. Then later I realized that he was married also. He was a guru also. He was okay also. So in this generation to point out is very different. So I'm sure there might be some great operating beings even now.
Yeah. People who are probably very wealthy from a material perspective.
Yeah.
But at the same time very tuned.
Very, yes.
And perhaps after they pass away, they will be going to the Rishi Lok.
Definitely. Rishi Lok is very difficult to go because Rishis, like Ramana Maharishi, if I take his example, he was a Jivan Mukta here. He finished everything here. He uplifted so many people. He played his role. And even out of compassion, he's doing it. That time there's a choice given, I believe. Like Buddha.
Do you want to come back?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay?
In Buddhism, they say no if there's a choice given. So I think that Jivan Mukta is that choice given. So that is a Rishi Lok where great Rishis are still operating. That is right. And so the higher Lok is where there is complete union.
Above Rishi Lok.
That is where form, name, identity, everything dissolves. That Shiva and Shakti has become one. And in that, the human body can't sustain.
Too much power.
No, there is no others. There is nothing. There is.
This is Devlok?
No, Devlok is where higher gods are there. Rishi Lok, Devlok, and then highest.
What is then Devlok?
Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all these higher, Kalima, all these higher deities. They are direct reflections of the pure consciousness. Direct reflections. So when you pray to them, they will take you to higher consciousness. They are big. They are in front of Devatas. We are nothing. They are there in that look.
Kal Bhairav?
Kal Bhairav Baba is now full. It's his. Kal Bhairav Baba is, yes. People say that Kal Bhairav Baba is not a higher low. People say that Ganesh Bhagwan was from a lower low. Hanumanji was from a lower low. but they have access. They are there now. But they have come to that.
Even gods evolve?
Gods, the more you worship, they exist. And they evolve, no? When pralay will come, the actual end will come, everything will be sucked in that pure consciousness. They don't evolve, they are. They are. And it's amazing how they operate. It is amazing how rishis have got gods out. They have tapped into that frequency and realized that there are great energies working, gave them form so that we could apply. So gods are like tools. Mantra is a tool. God is a tool. Yantra is a tool. Mandala is a tool. Use the tool to reach the nameless and formless.
Okay. If you are killed through murder or you are killed before your time because of whatever reason, an illness you were not meant to have. I don't even know if that's a possibility actually, destiny-wise. Do you become what one refers to as a bhuta or a ghost?
See, according to my understanding, there is no bhuta or how we see in movies, ghost and all. There are entities that are existing. We call them bhuta. They are low entities, middle entities, high entities. Tantra also says. Low entities are all which satisfy your lower demands. Middle entities are all where there's a possibility where you can fall low and also go high. And there are higher deities. So these energies are there. If you die, for certain time you will be in that lok. You will operate, but you will be given a chance.
And you're a middle entity.
Depends upon your life, depends upon your sadhana, depends upon everything.
So if you are a murderer and a criminal and you die, you're probably a lower entity in that.
You will have to go through that phase where you'll be hovering around. It's very subjective, very, very subjective.
I've always wondered about what is the price that one pays for murder, and then what is the price one pays for causing mass murder. Because some of the top political figures in our world are paying a price as we speak. So what's going to happen to them?
See, from a karmic point of view, this is something very interesting. If this A is going to murder B, there is some karmic connection. Either we can casually say that ye B ne A ka murder kiya hoga pehle, or there is something which is on and that chapter is over. Now, if this A is doing some mass murder, imagine that mass people having some association with this. And this man also. This is in this reality. Now, after death, whatever karma they have associated and whatever karma this A has taken, Mother Nature will see to it that next birth mein, it has to. It is that process that goes on. Because killing at that moment is personally in this man's hand. So if he is killing, he's building more karma. If he's becoming conscious that no, this is not dharmic, whatever happened is past, he will move towards higher states of consciousness. Very, very subjective. That is the reason we call it the vicious cycle of birth and death. We are completely entangled in Maya.
Okay. The goal is to focus on your sadhana.
On your sadhana. Sadhana is very, very important. Only that will save you. And don't you think your sadhana is holding you? Don't you think there's a change in your sadhana with time? That is something very, very important. In fact, I also believe that I have recognized after a while sadhana becomes monotonous. If that is becoming, there's a problem. You're losing awareness. Secondly, it's time to upgrade. So that time you go ask your guru what to do next. That is again, the guru is very, very important. And I personally believe, and whenever you're doing sadhana, that jap, that one mantra should be done with so much awareness. Don't run behind the number of jap. Run behind how with love, awareness you're doing it. Because you don't know at the end of the mantra, you will be in another state of consciousness. That should be done with very awareness. So even if you're doing one mala or doing 11 times or doing 5 times, but with that love, you will change.
That was the end of our first episode called Understanding Death.
Yeah, this is...
This whole episode became
was
about
death only.
Life and death.
Life and death only.
But there's a lot more to speak to you about.
Yeah. I'm just flowing. All random topics are coming to me.
I mean, we'll keep talking right now in this reality and this version of time. But the audience will see the second episode.
Done.
In a few years, maybe. So, Bhavesh bhai, thank you.
Thank you so much, Arbhai.
We'll be back in 2 minutes in our reality. In a few weeks in their reality. See you guys.
Thank you, Arpa.
That was the episode for today. Bhavesh Bhai is an absolute all-star TRS. Tell me what you thought of this episode. Tell me what you'd like us to discuss the next time around. I think Bhavesh Bhai is one of the most important people in the re-rise of spirituality in India. The way his short content, the way his long content is making changes in the world of urban Indian culture. This kind of a change, this kind of an impact doesn't happen overnight. We know he's a special soul. All I want to do through TRS is support his journey. So please tell me what you'd like us to talk about the next time, and tell me how we, you and me, the podcaster and the listener, can support Bhavesh Bhai even better. We really need to celebrate more people like this. I'm also looking for guest suggestions from you guys when it comes to this particular endless topic called spirituality. TRS will be back soon. Ranveer and the team will also be back soon. Hari Om Tat Sat.